Have you ever looked around and thought, have we all lost our damn minds? Because lately, that's exactly how I feel. Everything's upside down. The people who used to fight for truth are doubling down on propaganda. The people who used to scream about war are now marching towards it. The news is messy. The air feels heavy. And you're sitting there just trying to make sense of it all, wondering if you're the only one who sees it clearly. You're not. I'm Chanelle, and this is Sassy Politics. I took a breath last week. I needed it. I had to step back from the noise, but I never stay away long because I know how important this is. And truthfully, I love this. I love using my voice. I love knowing you're out there listening. And I love knowing we're not as alone as they want us to feel. Today, I want to walk you through what's really happening beneath the chaos and how I know, deep in my gut, that the tide is turning. On June 14th, something incredible happened. Over 2,100 cities across the country stood up and said, "We have no kings in America." It wasn't a cute slogan. It was a full-body rejection of authoritarianism, of one man thinking he's untouchable. This is from my protest. It's a little flag they were handing out. I still feel recharged from it. I took my daughter with me. And it was hot. It was in Dallas. It was hot. And there was like 10,000 people there. But it was so important to be there and to feel the community that I'm in is feeling the exact same way. But not only my community, all around the U.S., red states and blue states all came together for one reason: to say, Trump, you're not going to do this to our country. So I was there. I felt it. I saw people show up with their kids, with handmade signs. I actually had one of my own that me and my daughter made. We made a day out of it. And then I went live on TikTok as I was recording or as I was making my sign. And my sign said, "And then they came after you." Because eventually they will. And that was the real message of my sign. With this quiet fire that was in everybody's eyes, they said, "No, you don't get to take this from us." We're talking millions of people. All states in the U.S. participated. On back roads and in big cities, that's history. We made history. That's momentum. But how did Trump respond? He logged onto Truth Social and posted, "I was very concerned a king was trying to take my place. Sarcastic, passive, aggressive, delusional." But here's the part you need to clock. The very next day, he pivoted from mocking us to announcing that he plans to double deportations. Now remember, just weeks ago, he said he'd ease up on deportations for farm workers and hospitality because of pressure from billionaires and business owners. But the second millions of people stood up and called him out, he snapped. He got petty. He got vengeful. And if you think that's not a sign of a man who believes he's above the law, think again. And that big military parade that he threw himself in D.C.? Underwhelming. Sparse crowds, awkward energy. Let's just say the vibe wasn't giving king. And I will tell you, there were some great memes out there. One was this army tanker, which is true footage, and all you hear is the as it rolls across the road, and there's no audible sounds of the crowd. It's brilliant, and it's been used over and over again. Actually, Newsom used it in one of his posts. So, yeah, anyway, loved it. Now, here's where it gets even more twisted. People online started posting things like, "No kings, but Jesus is king," completely missing the whole point. Clearly, that wasn't about religion. It was about power, about democracy, about reminding this country that no one is above accountability. But they gaslight, they twist, they reduce everything to a culture war meme. That's how the machine keeps spinning. And it's exhausting. Let's talk about what Trump said just yesterday. He went after Fox News. Yeah, his own echo chamber. He said MAGA hates Fox News because they're posting negative polls, called their pollster a clown, and their political analyst, Jessica Tarlov, a disgrace. Said their numbers were rigged and biased. Now hold on. This is Fox, the same network that's carried water for him for years. The one that helped build the MAGA machine. And now it's not loyal enough. This is what authoritarians do. They burn every bridge that doesn't worship them. And when even Fox isn't pure enough for you, you're not running a movement. You're running a cult. And the cracks are showing. Candace Owens, yes, that Candace, said she's heartbroken watching Trump fight against free speech in America. Joe Rogan, who isn't exactly progressive, said Trump's immigration plans are dangerous and warned that we might become monsters while fighting monsters. Let that sink in. People who built their platforms defending Trump are now backing away. Slowly, carefully, publicly. That's not nothing. That's a signal. The tide is turning. You want to hear something beautiful? We need it. Pope just appointed a new U.S. bishop, Michael Pham. And his first message, he called on deacons and priests to sit beside immigrants in court, not to preach, not to convert, just to be there, to show up in solidarity, to make sure no one feels alone. That moved me because it reminded me of the nuns in Germany who hid Jewish families during the Holocaust. Quiet acts of resistance, small things that changed everything. And maybe that's what we need right now. People willing to show up. And then there's the war drums. Trump is now talking about aligning with Israel to take on Iran. It's all starting to build. But remember, his base, they were anti-war. That was the one thing they could hang their hat on. Now he's doing exactly what they used to criticize Bush and Obama for. So ask yourself, was it ever really about policy? Or was it always about control? I know this is a lot. I know you might be listening to all of this, holding your coffee, sitting in your car or your kitchen, thinking, what the hell is happening to us? I feel it too. It's scary. It's overwhelming. And it's easy to feel like you're the only one who sees what's really going on. But you're not alone. This shift, the one we're witnessing, it's not just about power or politics. It's about people waking up. It's about reclaiming clarity in a world built on confusion. And that matters more than you know. Here's the truth. Millions protested. Trump panicked. The media turned. His allies backed away. Faith leaders stepped forward. And in the middle of all of the noise, you stayed awake. The tide is turning. You can feel it. You can see it. And if you've been waiting for a sign to keep speaking, to keep standing, to keep fighting, this is it. You're not crazy. You're not alone. And I will be here with you. I'll be back next week, next Monday. Until then, stay safe, stay awake, and pay attention. Love you, miss you, bye.